Play games and use your phone for a long time, causing sudden brain bleeding. Don't let tragedy happen to you. Warning about mobile gaming youth status, sudden brain bleeding, why this tragedy happened. Playing games on excessive mobility, young men suffer from brain hemorrhage. Today's smart mobile phones have become unrelated objects of most people. Although there have been many recommendations about how we use our phones too much, unhealthy, but hardly get the attention of young people, even children. Brain hemorrhage is a disease that occurs quickly and violently. It is common in middle-aged and elderly people, but more and more young people also have brain hemorrhage. What was wrong here? Recently, in China, a young man in his 20s, after his parents planned to go to school to drive, while waiting for his schedule, he played electronic games on electricity. Mobile phone, from night to night. Playing and shouting, very happy and happy. However, one day, he suddenly had a headache, nausea, and vomiting, and then he fell into a coma. Both the fire brigade and the family immediately went to the emergency hospital. It turned out that he had a sudden brain hemorrhage and was fortunate to have been treated promptly. After being admitted to the hospital, overcoming the critical condition, the function of physical activity was basically restored. Warning about mobile gaming youth status, sudden brain bleeding, why this tragedy happened. Neuroscientists say the rate of young and middle-aged patients with cerebral hemorrhage is gradually increasing, with more warnings every day. According to incomplete statistical reports, it is estimated that there are about 2 million new stroke patients in China each year, and these 2 million people are still mostly young and middle-aged. This relates to the fast pacing of young people and abnormalities in living, lifestyle, and work activities. Stemming from unhealthy jobs, having not considered health, these often cause young people to be stressed, emotional, and not paying attention to care so that the body can function normally. From there can cause brain hemorrhage. In terms of pathology, there are about 80 to 90% of young people with cerebral hemorrhage due to cerebral vascular malformation. Most cerebrovascular malformations are natural cerebrovascular malformations. Normally, the brain arteries and veins must be smooth and regular, but with a changing lifestyle, the blood vessels will gradually become a mess, like a tangled wool group. At first, when the physical condition is good, the health is stable, the walls of blood vessels are always in a smooth state, smooth, thin, about 2 mm wide. But if you maintain bad habits, clogged blood vessels, specifically those with cerebrovascular malformations, may have small blood vessels of about 1 mm. Brain blood vessels are inherently developing with age. As you get older, the longer and thinner the blood vessels are, the more the balloon is stretched, along with various factors, such as strong activity, stress, and overwork, that will make them more susceptible. Explode, i.e. a sudden burst of blood vessels. Therefore, when a young person has a cerebral hemorrhage, it usually comes from those related causes, or has its own shortcomings. If cerebral hemorrhage is not treated promptly, the outcome will be very devastating, the last path, possibly loss of life, or loss of quality. Brain hemorrhage disrupts the ventricles and causes cerebral palsy, making life of people at risk. Whenever you have signs and feelings such as numbness, fatigue, sputum in your mouth, drooling, unstable thoughts, and saying unclear words, be wary of the appearance of cerebral hemorrhage and going to the hospital to check for CT, MRI, or angiography immediately. To prevent brain hemorrhage in young people, the following advice should be taken. Health check every 6 months. More regular exercise, regular healthy diet, reasonable work and rest schedules. Healthcare should be used according to the doctor's advice, strict control of blood pressure and protection of blood vessels through prevention and treatment. When the body has early warning symptoms, go to the hospital immediately. Busy work is not the reason for abandoning health. You will have to pay a high price if, because of other factors that take up all the time but ignore caring about health. Nothing is more important than life. And give birth to one's own life.